another first-timer in the studio, and I got to take everybody kind of inside the show a little bit. So Brandon Dorless was just in here right before you were. Did you guys cross paths on the way out?
No, I actually didn't see him.
Okay,
no.
so I asked him, like, who does he battle with in practice the most? You're smiling, nodding your head. Like, yeah, you guys have been going at it for years now.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like you know all of Brandon's secrets and he knows all of yours at this point?
I'm going to be honest, no. I still don't know what he does because every year, literally since 2019, every year he comes back, he always has something new. So, like, I'm still trying to catch up on it. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes in the locker room, I'll hear them talking, him and Keon or some other D lineman. They'll be talking about what they're doing. I'll be like, hey, what'd you say? What were you doing on that one play? He's like, nah, something. I'm like, all right, dude.
I like that. I like that. Well, I had to start there because it was fresh on my mind. But one thing that we ask everybody to do when they come in, you got to tell your 2-minute life story. The story of Stephen Jones. You got 2 minutes. I'm going to time you. We've got a leaderboard. No one's ever gotten 2 minutes on the dot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, go.
My name is Stephen Jones. I'm a senior here at University of Oregon. I grew up in Temecula, California. West side. I've always been a Cali kid, so always grew up in the sun. I went to high school at Chaparral High School. I think I had an older brother and older sister, Nicole and Greg. They both went to that high school too. I didn't play football until about 5th, 6th grade is when I first started. That's when I first started playing tackle football, and then things didn't really get real until I got to high school was when we started to understand that maybe I can play college football. And that's when I got my first scholarship. I got my first scholarship my sophomore year, University of Colorado. But anyways, later on down the line, I ended up here at the University of Oregon. I've been loving it here ever since. This is my 5th season now. I was here. Coach Cristobal was the one who recruited me, and he was my coach all the way up until now. So, I grew up always playing sports. I played volleyball, soccer, baseball, basketball, snowboarding. I was a big snowboarder as a kid. I still loved it. That was actually one of my favorite sports growing up. My number one sport was snowboarding. I don't think a lot of people would expect to see my big self on a board, especially my family. If you saw my whole family, it'd look like a bunch of grizzly bears sliding down the mountain. So yeah, but I've always been an active kid, so I've really enjoyed it. Now here I am at Oregon trying to finish up my last couple years here and enjoying myself. So.
Minute 59.
That was close. Does that count?
That was well done. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. There you go.
I'll have to go look at, closely on the timer on the recording because the closest we ever had was a minute 59. I think .56. Dang. I think you were.
I was right there. I was right there. I felt it too.
So, I feel like everybody who plays, I always kind of joke, like people that played basketball that have that internal shot clock.
Yeah.
In football, the play clock, but it's a little different.
Yeah, it is different. Yeah.
So I feel like multi-sport athletes are better at a lot of things, but are better at the 2-minute life story.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
Well done.
Definitely.
So are you like a double black diamond trail snowboarder? Like, what do you, what's your skill level here?
I'd say I was, my siblings would defer with me, but I'd say I was pretty good. We was doing it from the time I was about 8, 9 until about 13, 14 was when I would hit high school. My dad kind of cut that off. He was like, listen, you going to play college football, you can't be snowboarding at the same time. So I kind of stopped after that. I went one more time, and I remember that one time we went as a family. It was 4 years since I was last on the mountain, and my brother, he likes to do it, so he did it more often. He went up, he's like, all right, guys, we're going to take this nice little trail down. I got you guys. Just a warm-up. We get up there. I see the sign that says a Black Diamond. I'm like, Greg. That's my brother's name. I'm like, Greg, what are you doing taking us down this hill? It was all bad. Turns out I had to walk 10 minutes down the slope. Then I got to the last part, and I slid about, I'm not going to lie, 200 yards down the mountain on my belly. I got a whole ice burn. It was all bad. So that was one of the last few times I snowboarded. I still love it though. I'm not gonna lie. I still love it. But yeah.
So I grew up in Santa Cruz in California, and so big skateboarding, surfing community. Yep. And I had friends that were like, "Yeah, you can't be doing this anymore."
No, exactly.
Exactly. It does get to that point a little bit.
Oh yeah,
so,
most definitely.
Hey, you're a vet now. Can you believe it's your 5th year here?
I mean. It's crazy, honestly. I was blessed with the opportunity to go back to my high school and talk to the freshman football team. And when I was out there in the morning, I was like, this is just surreal. Because I remember when I was in their shoes, and that felt like yesterday, but it was really 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And now going into my 5th year, I remember when I was a kid at that age saying, hey, I kind of want to play for Oregon. That would be really cool if I did. And now going into my 5th season at the University of Oregon is it's unbelievable.
How much
So.
pride do you have? Like, did you wear like the Oregon polo when you went back there? Like, did you like have the look?
my girlfriend makes fun of me because whenever I'm in the airport, I just have like a bunch of Oregon gear, and she's like, you just have to be that Oregon football player, huh? I'm like, bro, I can't control it. Like, this is what I love. I love to wear it. All right.
I think that's great, though. I mean, you know, I think it's cool to hear those stories, just how much pride you take in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's. I love hearing that. You know, as somebody. So I went to school here. I've worked here my entire career, right?
Okay.
And so I think that's cool to hear, you know, from you, because I think that I got a lot of friends that I went to school with. They hear that story and they're like, yes, yeah, that's what we like. So tell us a little bit about your offensive line group. I mean, you guys are veterans. You guys have been through the wars together. How would you describe that position group right now?
I think we're all really well-knit group together. I've been here since 2018. Ryan and Alex, they got here 2017. Me and Dawson have been here 2018. And
they're old men.
Yeah, they're old. So I think now being in our 5th season, their 6th season together, it's we're all really well put together, and we know how to operate on the field together. All of us can put our pride to the side, and really, if we got to be vulnerable to listen to one another for their coaching, we're all willing to do that. So I think with guys like Alex and Ryan, who are like some of the 2 smartest dudes I've met that played football, it really helps being out there with them too. So.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I was talking with Byron about that, actually, like from the running back perspective. You know, like he, by the way, was like, yeah, I'm gonna owe these guys a lot of steak dinners. So you know, that's that relationship, right? But the X's and O's evolution in your career, just like the understanding of how football works, right? Like, how would you describe that evolution in your career? Like on a scale of, if you're a 10 now, where were you as a freshman, kind of a thing?
I mean, as a freshman, I would consider myself a 1 because the only thing I knew was my position alone. Like, I would only pay attention to what the left tackle had to do on the backside block or play side block. And now going into my 5th season, I think that I'm able to really catch up on everything that the receivers are doing, all the way down to what the safety's doing. So I think now I'll probably say I'm around the 7 or 8. I still have a lot of room to improve, obviously, but I think just my whole understanding of what's going on in the field has grown tremendously.
That's cool. I think that's cool to hear because, you know, I said this earlier, that I feel like there's such a focus on the physical aspect of football, but it's a mental game, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I've been learning that too. Around my sophomore, junior year, I started to understand that I knew the playbook, but there was still some things that I was trying to figure out what was going on, and then I realized, okay, that's actually the mental aspect of football that you need to start working on. So I made a huge emphasis my junior year to really understand the mental game, what it takes to be a football player, what it takes to be able to last throughout the whole entire season, as well what it takes to be, you know, just mentally tough and physically tough on the field at the same time. So
take fans inside like a film study session, if you could. Like, you've been through a lot of these now, and I know different coaches maybe do it different ways. Like, what do you guys zero in on when you're reviewing film and you're learning from it?
You know, it's a wide variety of things. First off is like tendencies of what D linemen like to do. If they're bringing a certain blitz, what does that D lineman do leading up to him bringing the blitz? Does he like twitch his hand a couple times? Does he keep on looking outside if he's going to go outside? Little things like that. And then you break it down to schematics standpoint. You start to understand like what the defenses react to whenever you line up in a certain formation, or how they react whenever you fit a certain block. So I think now at a more of a college veteran perspective, you get to look at it from, okay, when we're in this formation, you got to make sure you take this type of step, because if you take this type of step, you'll be able to catch him on a certain angle. So,
what's Coach Clem like? Gotten to know him over the last few months. You know? What's he like? Tell fans about him.
I think he's a really good personal coach. He's learned how to really connect with all of us personally. He recruited me back when I was in high school, when he was at a different school, and it's crazy to see how it all tied back together. You know, now being in my senior year, he's actually coaching me. So me and him I think we have a great relationship off the field and on the field. He has a lot. He's been in the league for a long time, so he has a lot of knowledge he has to provide for us. So,
you know, I'm curious because you mentioned like that there's such an overlap. Like, we hear that story a lot, right? Like, oh, I knew that coach from my recruitment, and now he's here, and you know, it's really not that big of a game, is it?
No, it's not.
That's
it's not
crazy.
at all. Yeah.
It's a small world.
Very small world. That's what I'm starting to understand, too, because I've started to run back into some old coaches that I knew when I was in high school, too, and it's like, dang, look how it all comes back together. I never thought I'd really see you again, and here we are. So.
Right. So you're the best snowboarder on the team, you think?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to take that title, but if no one wants to take it, I'll take that. So,
you know,
I think I'm pretty good. I need to get back out there and, you know, really see. But
if you hear from anybody after our conversation, you know, I guess let me know.
Yeah,
you know?
okay, I will.
Maybe
I will.
maybe like in the postseason.
Yeah.
I feel like that.
Yeah,
that
around
would
that
make
time,
sense.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would make sense. I'm going to leave you with this, just like the offense in general. Like fans always want to know, like, hey, how many points are you going to score? Like what's the offense going to look like? So I'll ask you, what's the offense going to look like? What are we going to see come September 3rd?
I think we're going to be very explosive. I think you guys have been able to see last season what we can do in the run game, and I think we'll be able to produce the same. I have full faith in my offensive line buddies that we can all go out there and execute whenever we need to. We got dudes like Ty Thompson and Bo Nix back there in the backfield, so whoever's out there, I know they're going to be making plays. We got receivers on the edge that Chase Cota, Dante Thornton, Troy Franklin. Dudes have been making plays, and I think it's really time for all of them to really step up. So I think we're going to be all across the field. It's going to be explosive, and it's going to be a lot of energy out there.
Stephen Jones, best of luck, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.